When Season of the Deep launched a couple of weeks ago, everyone was pretty excited to see some of our favorite Gambit weapons making a triumphant return to the loot pool with the ability to focus those drops to boot. Included in that list of forgotten heroes was the Spare Rations, the hand cannon that dominated the Crucible for an entire age in Destiny 2's past, the hand cannon that forced PvP tryhards to stand on a bridge and endure the onslaught of taken thralls and ogres, chaining 6 wells all the way to the finish line. And the gun was so much better than anything else in PvP that a Gambit activity became one of the most intensely farmed locations in years. With a past like that, many players expected the Spare Rations to make some serious waves in Season of the Deep, but most players are instead letting the gun sink to the depths of their vault. Why is that? And does the gun have some redeeming qualities in today's PvP landscape? Well, that's the focus of the video today. Let's dive in. The first thing you need to know is that Spare Rations, as many already know, used to be a 150 RPM hand cannon back when those existed. Within its subfamily, it was the king. It had the best stat package, best perk pool, had the full benefits of pre-nerf rangefinder, adding more zoom and damage drop-off distance, and it had the obvious benefit of being able to 3-tap just like a 140 could, but it could do it faster at the 150 RPM rate. But Bungie decided that 150 hand cannons didn't need to exist since they were completely nullifying the existence of the staple 140 archetype. So they decided to erase 150s from existence by simply going in and changing the rate of fire on all 150s to 140 instead, with the exception of Sunshot. The problem with that is that 150s were fundamentally different from 140s, and their stat package never got the benefits that 140s have. So they were never truly converted into 140s, they just had their RPM and impact changed. Imagine if a rapid fire frame fusion had its charge rate slowed way down to match an adaptive, but it kept the same sporadic widespread of the rapid fire frame and the shorter range. You would essentially kill the weapon, it would be a gun with an identity crisis, and that's what these former 150 hand cannons are like. So we see that reflected in the base stats of the Spare Rations, specifically in the returning one that you can farm this season. Its base range value is 36, and it does not have the benefits of having rangefinder in the perk pool. Compare this to other top kinetic 140s like Austringer, which has 46 base range, a full 10 more. Rose, which has 43. Both Rose and Austringer also have rangefinder in addition. Aya's Luna's base range is a whopping 51. And it also has access to rangefinder. So let me boil that down to one simple statement. The Spare Rations, fully kitted out with its best range perks, will experience damage drop-off around 5 whole meters sooner than all the other popular kinetic 140s. So you may be asking the question, how could this weapon possibly be good? Is this title completely misleading? Well, let's look at Spare Rations from a different angle, and this is really the kicker here. Think of these weapons like building a fresh character in an old school RPG. You start with, let's say 10 skill points to build your character out before you start adding all the other things by leveling them up. Maybe you want a tanky character, so you put 5 skill points into health, and then 4 into strength and 1 into stamina. So now you've got the framework to build a really strong brawler. Maybe you want a squirrely ranged damage dealer, so you put 6 skill points into dexterity and 4 into mobility. Now you've got the framework for a strong archer. But let's say your friend sitting next to you, playing the exact same game, starts building out his character. But you look over and he doesn't have 10 skill points to spend, he's got 15. And you're like, bro, what the heck? He's got more points to spend. He can either make a better jack of all trades, or he can go even harder into a specialized role. That right there is Spare Rations. If you add up all the stat values on the Austringer, including range, stability, handling, reload speed, and aim assist, you end up with 273 total points that Bungie allocated to different stat values on the gun. If you look at the Rose and add up all of those same values, you get 288, which is considerably higher than Austringer, but it doesn't have enhanced perks. But then you look at the Spare Rations, and Bungie allocated a whopping 293 stat points to this gun. That's 20 more skill points that Spare Rations got to spend on its perks than Austringer did. Now, we already noted that the range is worse on the Spare Rations than the competition, so that begs the question, where did all those stat points go? And back to our metaphor of the RPG building a character, it didn't go for a jack of all trades. Instead, Spare Rations full sent on a highly specialized role. And that's all the things that make a weapon feel good in Destiny and perform consistently with rapid responsiveness in real-time engagements. Let's take a look. Here's the gist. Spare Rations went hard in handling, reload speed, and aim assist. The handling value is 71. Now that's astronomically high. Compare that to Ostringer's 47 and Ayaluna's 49. So the Spare Rations is going to ready much faster. It's going to ADS much faster. It's going to draw much faster. Handling also dictates how soon after jumping, sliding, and meleeing you can fire your weapon. So the Spare Rations is basically going to be able to get shots off much more frequently than any of its competition, and not by a small margin. It's designed to accompany chaotic and dynamic gameplay, and since you're going to be brawling with the gun, it's also good that the reload speed at base is 56, which is 10 higher than Ostringer and Ayasluna. And the aim assist value is 83 to help you quickly affix your reticle to your enemy's head. That's the second highest of its competition, second only to Rose, which has 85 aim assist. All of these things compound to make Spare Rations frankly one of the best feeling 140 hand cannons in the game right now. It is made for the player who stays mobile, who isn't standing at the end of a lane ADSing and waiting for an enemy to enter it. It's made for the Vanguard, the Guardians who like to be the runner in Red Rover. So if you're the kind of gamer who likes to stay mobile, close gaps, and get into that close mid-range sweet spot and create a little chaos, hey, then Spare Rations might be the primary for you. I ran a sniper with mine because I liked being able to thin the herd out a little bit before going in, but if I was running with good teammates, then I would probably run a shotgun or a fusion with the Spare Rations and let my teammates focus on tagging people up at range and letting me safely push into mid-map and get close enough to punish people. The Spare Rations does have a pretty solid perk pool, and my roll is a 4 out of 5. In the first column, you've got Offhand Strike, which surprisingly synergizes quite well with the strengths of the Spare Rations. I might have to give that one a shot. You've got Moving Target, which is always solid in a semi-automatic dueling weapon. Slide Shot is great. Rapid Hit is great. Snapshot, I think, is redundant and unnecessary. And Subsistence is a hard pass. The second column, you've got Vorpal, Opening Shot, which is S tier for extra range, accuracy, and aim assist on your first shot of your volley. Kinetic Tremors, which is a hard pass for a PvP dueling weapon. Swashbuckler, which is also a pass for me as it's too situational. Kill Clip, and Focused Fury. The obvious pick here is Opening Shot. Other than that, Kill Clip is always nice for the built-in forgiveness in your second duel. Vorpal can come in handy for banging down roaming supers, and mine has Focused Fury, which does kick in sometimes in the gameplay, but it's far too situational and doesn't change your optimal TTK at all. I think Slide Shot and Rapid Hit in the first column are your best bets, with Opening Shot in the second. My roll has Small Bore, Ricochet Rounds, Rapid Hit, Focused Fury, and a Ranged Masterwork. A solid 4 out of 5 roll. And last but not least, I do have to mention that the Origin Trait Disaster Plan is a lot better than I actually thought it was going to be. Anytime I pick up ammo, it makes it so that the next time I enter an engagement and start shooting the hand cannon, now I'm going to have a considerable amount of extra range, and it lasts for a full second after I start firing, which means it lasts for the full 3-tap duration, and actually can compete with those other 140 hand cannons. So there you have it, that's the Spare Rations. While most people are dismissive of it just based on the range value alone, I think the weapon has some irrefutably redeeming qualities, and there's definitely a place for it in today's PvP sandbox. If you're a confident veteran player who knows how to move and position yourself well, then the Spare Rations is going to complement your gameplay well. I recommend you at least give the weapon a chance to impress you, and please let me know in the comments section what you think about the Spare Rations if you've already used it. What roles are you hunting down and why? Thanks so much for tuning into the video today, and I appreciate all of you for supporting my content. Just a heads up, I do have a few sponsored deals this month, so you'll see some ad reads sprinkled in from time to time on some of my videos, but that's how I feed my family. Thanks again for letting me do what I do. It's all thanks to your support. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.